Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch, 3 days in a row. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. And first order of business this morning would be to drink it. If you got it. I got it right here. Like I always say, if you don't got it, go get it. Wonderful, wonderful. It's a bright, sunny morning here. As I lower the music volume with my right hand. Not the smoothest fade out, but it worked. So things are improving. I've been reading the comments in the chat, and people have expressed their desire for me to say I am well rested. And I am. It was a tiring couple of days with the birthday and all. But we're past that now, and well on my way to my 79th birthday, which at this point seems way far in the distant future. But in reality, when it gets here, it will have seemed like a day or two since the last birthday, because that's how I feel right now about my 77th. Strange how that works. Sometimes when you're waiting for something to happen, 5 minutes can be an eternity. And when you want things to slow down, they just speed up. It's strange, but we all experience it. Oh, well, we're waiting for people to pile in here this morning. I got up I actually slept in this morning. I slept till about 10 after 6, which is late for me, but I must have needed it. And of course, like I usually do, I punished myself and turned on the morning news. I hardly listen to the news anymore, but I always take note of any biases that I hear politically or any other biases from the particular network. And I generally watch Fox News, but I alternate with an ABC affiliate. And here in Orlando at Channel 9. Neither one of those is really too politically bent, as you would expect. The news comes out pretty much the same. The attitudes are pretty much the same. So, in that respect, it's good. You're more likely to get real stories than just agendas on either of those, because they're not wildly different. Like, for example, CNN on cable and the Fox News Channel. You'd swear you're living in a completely different world when you watch one or the other. They never meet on any opinion or agenda. So luckily here we're better off. But the one thing, there really wasn't a lot of news this morning that caught my attention, but what did catch my attention, and I've talked about this before, were the ads. The advertisement. Who sponsors this morning news? And it's different, for example, than who sponsors afternoon soap operas, the evening news, late night. Each different time frame has wildly different demographics. So who are the people that are watching the morning news? And I started to think about that. Early, like at 6 o'clock, you've got working people who have gotten up, getting dressed, get the kids up for school, turn the TV on for background noise, and then you've probably got a lot of senior citizens, old farts like me, we don't sleep late. Traditionally, we sleep fewer hours, or we're insomniacs, but most old people that I know are generally up by 5 or 6 o'clock at the latest, sometimes 3 or 4. So you've got the working people and the old people, I think, making up the brunt of the audience for these morning newscasts. So you've got people, the seniors, the senior citizens, who health, medical issues, hospitals, things like that are primarily on their mind most of the time. Talk to most old people. Listen in on their conversations without them knowing what you'll hear them talking about. I went to this doctor, went to that doctor, he's treating for this, he's treating for that, I'm on this drug, blah, blah, blah. And interspersed, they will tell you about the cruises that they go on. The other crowd, the younger working people, aren't as worried about their health, but I would say that they make up the brunt of the people who have automobile accidents. So because they're headed out every day, every morning in rush hour, drop the kids off at school, head to work, and more likely to get in a car accident during the morning rush than most people. The old people, they're still home. The rest of people aren't watching the news at 6 o'clock in the morning. They're probably still in bed, hitting that snooze button for the 10th time. So the advertisements that you see on the news in the morning are perfect for this crowd. You've got 3 primary types of advertisers. For the young commuters, you've got car dealers and auto accident attorneys. So they got both ends of it covered. A main reason why people buy new cars is because they wrecked the old one. So we've got you covered, folks. We got no shortage of attorneys promising that you're going to win the lottery. We're going to get you $3 million like this guy here. And no shortage of car dealers telling you, come to us and get the luxury that you deserve. And if I haven't heard those commercials with exactly the same wording 1,000 times, I think just in the past year alone, I haven't heard it at all. And it's expected. So to those of you who get up early, get the kids ready, pack everybody's lunch, hit the door and hit the road in the rush hour, we've got your attorney right here in case you get in a car accident to make you rich. And we got the car dealer right here that's telling you what to do with all of that money that you just won. And what a commentary on America. When I think back 20, 30 years ago, it wasn't like this. It just wasn't like this. It's not getting better. It's getting worse. More and more attorneys advertising, more and more car dealers. And for the old farts among us that are so concerned about their health, we're barraged with prescription drugs to fix this, hospitals to treat that, nursing schools now. Honest to God, Advent Healthcare is advertising their nursing college on the morning news. Nursing college to train the nurses and brainwash them so that they fit right into the new paradigm of practicing medicine. And I gotta tell you, it's scary. It's scary. Hospitals fishing for patients. Since when does a hospital need to fish for patients? But more and more hospitals, Moffitt Cancer Center, Advent, all the Advent hospitals, they run ads like crazy, and they're generic ads, and they have nothing to do with medical treatment. They show like the Publix food commercials. You don't even know it's a hospital commercial till you get near the end. It shows people jumping and playing and happy and dancing like the drug commercials. What's that got to do with being sick and almost dying and having to go to a hospital because you got stage 4 cancer? Nothing. But they're getting us to associate that is disgusting. I know I've commented on this before, but it amazes me that this is the new normal. We can't do anything about it. We can't change it. We can't outlaw it. What I think we need to do, and it's something that I probably do unconsciously, is make a stand-up comedy routine out of it and start telling people that this is so sad it borders on funny. I don't know, but that's my observation for this morning. And my homework assignment for you, and I don't know if it's true on the weekends, but on the weekdays when you watch the morning news, wherever you are, take note of the commercials. And I'll be curious to know if it's just Florida because of the large concentration of retired people, or if this is a national trend. Is the national trend in the sales pitches that we see every day in the form of commercials. So, a little opening monologue for you there. I'm looking at the chat, and you guys aren't talking about what I'm talking about. You're talking about putting black pepper on things. Okay. Maybe you didn't find that interesting. Maybe you just like talking to your friends. We have 92 people here now. And good morning to you on this Friday morning. The weather's beautiful here in Melbourne. It's sunny. It's gorgeous outside. And yet, the weatherman on TV calls this a weather impact day. That's something new now. The weather people have to add drama to the weather. Well, we're supposed to have some big thunderstorms likely this afternoon, but they call it a weather impact day. I don't know. It must be fishing for viewers, either to go to their internet, YouTube videos, or tune into their TV station to make sure they stay up minute by minute on this weather that we're supposed to have because it could impact us. I'm not worried about it. If it rains, it'll rain. But they do this a lot too. One of the things about being old is you remember the way it used to be. I don't know if that's better for your stress level than not knowing at all how it used to be and just accepting all this crap as normal and going about your life. I guess each of us is individual on that. Let's see who's here this morning. I assume everybody can see and hear me because I don't see a bunch of capital letter exclamation point ending things in the chat saying no sound, your picture's bad, whatever. So as long as I don't push the wrong button and dump myself out of this, it's going to work. If I disappear and the screen goes black, all of a sudden, and the only thing left on the screen may be a coffee cup, or even that's going to go away. Hang tight. Takes me 30 seconds or a minute to reload it and get back in. It's happened a couple of times. Something I do with the mouse must have accidentally hit some button. But I'll try not to do that. But don't go away if I do. And maybe when I get my right hand working like it's supposed to and go back to normal with the mouse on the right hand side, I won't be doing that accidentally anymore. First in on this chat, and I don't think this was the first entry for this particular stream because I actually put it up yesterday morning. I can't believe that all day went by and nobody put an entry in the chat. But the earliest chat that this StreamYard version found was 4:32 a.m. Our insomniac, Cliff Medina. Hi, Cliff. How are you? Followed by Keto Mike from the Philippines. United Carnivore, Mike Seeley, is down in the Philippines right now, and on the 7th, just celebrated his reaffirmation of his marriage vows. Very nice. But over there is the other side of the world, so this wasn't in the middle of the night. Tanya, Kitchen was just wake me up minutes ago. And that was at 5:30. I was still in bed at 5:32, so I'm with you there. Wayne Herman came in about 6 a.m. Good morning from Lake Gaston, North Carolina, and Rick's awake. What time? 8:04. Oh, he jumped a couple hours. Rick's here from Miami and the Ducks. Patty Molden, just at 8 o'clock. How you doing? Mike Seeley Sr. Mike says it's a beautiful morning in Melbourne, Florida. It is, Mike, but batten down the hatches, my friend, because it's a weather impact day. Janelle Sobowski, or Sobowski. Wow. Good morning. Good morning, Mitch. I raised my cup of tea to you this morning. Does that mean you're in Great Britain or England, or are you just like tea better than coffee, which is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Jerry Graham's with me. Good morning, Mitch and Mitch Fish. Another Jerry Bell. Hello, meat people. Terry Sue's here. Hi, Terry. How are you? Good morning, Mitch, and all the coffee kebabs. Now we're kebabs. All right. And Harry Dion. Hi, Harry. Good to see you. Michael Pregler's with us this morning. Bob Black, Tammy Batarch, and at 9:20 a.m., Terry Sue came back. It's going to be 88 here today. I hope to hit the cement pond or some. Oh, good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Meaty Tues is here. I'm here. Jerry Graham is back. Mama Bear, how you doing? Good morning to you and Aaron. Booby Goats is here. Lori's Carnivore Story. Thomas, Target Prime Rib. Thomas joined us last night in the private community live stream, which was kind of relaxed and fun. I was tired. Laurie says, I wonder what wisdom Mitch will bestow upon us today. I don't know. Maybe I already did. We'll see. This is going to be a stream of answering your questions, responding to your comments, your conversations, and just joining in. It'll probably at some point turn into a little lecture because the hidden professor in me keeps peeking his head out, but I never know which way or what direction or how long these things are going to last. This is truly spontaneity on a daily basis, at least 3 times a week. And here is Brian Dish. Hi, Brian. Remember, you are what you eat. Yes, you are. And my corollary on that is to eat what you are. I don't know. I've never heard anybody think about it that way. I'm sure I'm not the first human on the planet to say it that way, but that makes a lot of sense. What do you do with a concept that you are built from what you eat? Logically, you have to say that means you should eat what you're made of. People are not saying that. It just makes so much sense. And how can you logically argue against that? How can you logically say that's not true? You shouldn't eat what you're made of. You should eat wood, because that's what most plant stuff is, cellulose. Stuff you can't digest, stuff your body doesn't want because it has no need for. How can you argue that is what we should be eating and we should not eat at any cost all of the protein, the fat, the amino acids that we're built out of when our body is screaming for the delivery truck from Lowe's or Home Depot to come and drop off the building supplies. How can anybody argue that point? And those that do, which is almost everybody, your doctors, dietitians, vegans, vegetarians, how come we don't throw that logic in their face every day, every minute? How do you explain this? Just like a defense attorney would explain something that's impossible to a jury. My client was in Hawaii when this murder happened. How could he logically have murdered this person? Well, obviously he didn't. Boggles the mind. So think about that and keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. You are what you eat, so eat what you are. It's the one argument that I think, even though infrequently used, is unchallengeable. Anybody. So either logic and critical thinking are dead, or we're not doing a good job as defense attorneys against the barrage of propaganda coming down from those people that just want to sell us poison and then drugs to keep us going for years afterwards. Tap into all that good federal insurance, healthcare money, which is, by the way, bankrupting our country. Gary Noslow, how you doing? Papa Carnivore's here. Peter, good morning to you. Carol P. And I'll tell you what, I missed it. I missed it. Who was it? Who did it? There it is. It was hang on, folks. Gary Noslow was the winner this morning at 9:30. How you doing? And then Peter and Brian and Lori and Carol P. and Marla Kelly. Good morning, Marla. How are you? And Lizzie's here and Richard Williams, all 9:30. Lori's Carnivore Story again. Terry Sue. Target Prime Rib. Aaron. Still 9:30. And Lori again. These guys just keep hitting the button. And that was it. Lori, you got the last one at 5:30, followed by Brian at 9:31. So go ahead and put QQQs in the chat for a question or a comment that you think really deserves some discussion, and that'll bring it to my attention, and we can talk about it. So I'll look for that. Somebody had a birthday. Bill Cook, 64. Saw that go by. Happy birthday, Bill. Young man. Oh, the pool of men that I can call young men increases by the minute for me. Bill Cook says, thank you all. If it is your birthday, let me know. Put a QQQ in front of us so I can shout you out. If you have some amazing milestone, you just got your A1C back. If it's the first time in 30 years, you're not a diabetic. Let me know. Those are the kind of things we all want to hear. This is a great community of people that not only like, but really seem to care about each other. So use this forum if you want to brag about big accomplishments. You just lost. This morning, the scale told you just topped 100 pounds. We want to know. We want to know about that stuff. That kind of stuff is happy stuff. It counteracts the things I go into where I, like this morning, where I talk about the things that are absurd and need to be changed. I don't want to be negative all the time. I like the positive stuff. So let me go down. I'll start looking for the QQQs. What time's the chat at? Chat's at 9:30. I'm at 5 to 10. about 25 minutes behind. Everybody's saying hi to everybody else, and I'm going to kind of skim through it here and see what I can find. Bermuda Guy agrees with me. Fox News Channel is my go-to news channel. Most of us that are carnivores, are realists, are critical thinkers, have common sense, and we tend to stay away from the extremes. Now, MSNBC and CNN are extremely liberal. Fox used to be extremely conservative, but they're nowhere near as far from center, I would say, as the radical stations are far from the center. I've heard my share of conservative bashing on Fox News, and the local channels are even less political, I think. So that's where I go. That's where I go for my news. Everybody says, computer questions. Peter says, what happened, Peter? My knees are clicking again. I feel like I'm 70 years old. Stomach got as a wreck. I'm only 2 days. In only 2 days to what? I didn't see what you started doing 2 days ago. But that doesn't sound good. Oh, I went off plan the last 2 days while at my girlfriend's house. Feel terrible. Oh, Peter. Come on, Peter. I'm giving you credit for really knowing something about this stuff. What'd you expect to happen? I'm sorry to hear that. I went off plan because I didn't have a choice. I was being held captive in a place where they were basically force-feeding me sugar. And I paid the price for it, all after having a stroke and having to deal with the symptoms and the disabilities of the stroke itself. But boy, I'll tell you what, I recognize the power of the addiction. I have done something about it. There is no sugar anymore, and I am feeling much, much, much better. It takes a couple days. When 3-4 days ago, I went strict carnivore again, and I went through 3 or 4 days of low energy. But for most of yesterday and all of today so far, my energy levels are beautiful. I feel great. And I've lost the cravings. So I have nothing but bacon and eggs. I'm going to make a cooking video today, so I'm going to be cooking up beef in some other form, and I will share it with you and probably release it tomorrow, the video on Saturday. It's great and something I'm sure a lot of you are already doing, but I just did it for the first time, and it gave me wonderful meals. So I'll do that tomorrow. But it's beef. It's beef. I have ground beef defrosted to use in cooking, or maybe just eat a chunk of it like a meatloaf. I had the other day chicken thighs. Yesterday morning, I ate 2 nice pieces of salmon, and I bought this salmon from Sam's Club, frozen. They have the frozen salmon, and each fillet in this box of 2 pounds comes individually vacuum sealed. So I thought I'd try it because I was been getting my food from Sam's delivered, and what I didn't want to do was I didn't want to let them pick out the fresh salmon, the sockeye. So I got the frozen. It's better. It's better. It's better. Honestly, let me go just for the fun and see if I can find. I show you what I bought. Salmon fillets. Okay. It's this stuff right here. And this stuff right here at Sam's Club. Alaskan sockeye salmon, skin on, which is terrific because the skin fries up in butter. I cook it in butter in a frying pan, cook the skin side first down. It gets crispy. Takes about less than 5 minutes to cook it in a frying pan, nothing but salt on it, and cook it in butter. It's wonderful. 2 pounds of it is $24. It's cheaper than the fresh, and it's wild caught, and it must be frozen on the boat, because it was the best salmon I've had in a long time. It's great. I'm just putting together another order from Sam's to be delivered. I'm going to get 2 of these, 2 of them, and keep them in the freezer. It is the best tasting fish that I've had in a long time. I normally don't buy this frozen stuff, but it's at Sam's Club. It's the Members Mark. It's their house brand. You get each piece, each fillet is about 4 ounces. So if I want to have a real meal, I'll eat 2 of them. If I just want to have them as an accompaniment in the morning with eggs, for example, and have fish and eggs, salmon, but I'm consciously trying to get more omega-3 into me. I talked about the fish oil not too long ago. But this stuff, folks, and they don't pay me a dime to advertise their stuff, but when I find something that I think is a great product, this is it. And you'll love it. And you can keep them in the freezer and just pull them out as you need them. You can leave them out. They'll defrost in a couple of hours, but all by themselves. Or you can just throw them in the fridge the night before. They'll be defrosted the next day. Easy to plan, quick to cook, no mess, and really delicious, delicious fish. There's nothing bogus about this stuff. There are still some foods out there where we don't have to worry what's wrong with it. So I'm glad I found that so easily to be able to show it to you. Where was I? I was talking to Peter about going off the wagon easy. Peter, you do this every once in a while. I know you don't want to. I know you know better. That doesn't mean you're stupid or weak or anything. That just proves my point over and over. And I just proved it myself, is that we are powerless against the control of the addictions. It's not even our fault. Once they addict us, we are subject to the power of those addictions because they have the ability to affect our reasoning and logic by shutting off our prefrontal cortex, taking away our seat at the table of decision making, which they're happy to give back to us after we've done the dirty deed. So always be aware of that, Peter. It's always lurking, and I have succumbed to it more than than I wish I had in my lifetime. And I've seen you since I've known you. You do it too. We had that little chocolate episode there as well. You can't be ashamed of yourself, but think more about it and recognize it. That's the advice I can give, which is the advice I have to give myself every once in a while. Oh, and I know if you follow my footsteps and end up in the hospital for a couple of weeks, you'll come out with an ice cream habit that you never thought, yeah, but you can't help it. You can't help it. Booby Goats. Aaron says, I ate a chicken thigh yesterday. I had black pepper in it. My knees are killing me today. We can be so sensitive to the toxins in plant material. We don't realize it. We don't realize it. And the longer that you manage to avoid these things, the more sensitive to them you get. Alcohol is, if you're a heavy drinker, you need to drink a bottle before you get drunk. Somebody like me who just doesn't drink, I can drink half a mixed drink and be 3 sheets to the wind. You get more sensitive to poisons because your body has mechanisms to neutralize and fight off these poisons. And if you're constantly poisoning yourself, these particular pathways are working hard. But if you don't have any poisons, those pathways aren't necessary. So they get kind of out of practice, for example, being used. And when you do ingest a small amount of these toxins, you can't catch up with the physiology needed to get rid of them, and they affect you more. And we all, as we get older, are subject to arthritis pain and joint pain. Our joints wear out, cartilages wear out. And I'm a prime example of that. All the way to rheumatoid arthritis I used to have. It crippled me up, which went away with carnivore. But I'm sure if I started eating a lot of plants and all those toxins would come roaring back. Still don't see any QQQs yet. I haven't gotten that far. I'm a half hour. Well, I'm still 25 minutes behind. Not too bad. Gary No Slow says, I spent $150 on a pepper grinder about a year ago. The most awesome pepper grinder that I've... Oh, man. Did you ever watch that video that I made where I cleaned out all the useless kitchen gadgets? Expensive ones, too, including that Champion juicer. That commercial quality. That was 30 years ago. I paid $400 for that thing. I took a truckload of that stuff down to Goodwill and just dumped it all on them. And I've starting to get a new collection of stuff I don't use very often. Basically, I use an air fryer, my oven and a frying pan, and my slow cooker. And those are the staples now. I'm using my slow cooker more and more. Here's a little hint about the video coming tomorrow. Let me see. There are very few inquiring minds that could care if I'm even here today. Hey, where you been? Okay, it's okay. Okay. I haven't seen you in a long time. Said good morning, Mitch. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. And Thomas was, yeah, Thomas. We're having a live stream last night, and we got windows with people in it. We're all talking. We got Thomas in one, and we got CB Carmack in one. We got Greg in one. We got Jerry Voitush in a window there, and Thomas is like, he's nodding off. So I mentioned it to him. He said, "Yeah, Mitch, I think it was obvious that I was tired." Jeff Streslak's with us. How you doing? Lady June from England, how you doing, June? Are we eating vegans again? Yeah, that's what we do. We eat vegans. And I always say when the vegans get to the point where they've outlawed animal agriculture and we can't buy animal meat anymore, that's not going to change the fact that we eat vegans. So I'm not going to come out and say it explicitly, but you should be afraid. A vegan has reason to fear. Because carnivores have to eat. Oh, I know that. Oh, my phone just went ding. Somebody texted me. I wonder if it's my daughter. Yes, it is. How about that? Let's see. We have no questions. If you don't get this far before I see some QQQs. Hey, there it is. Tammy, first one. In your opinion, that's what I got. My opinion. How long should someone stay on metoprolol beta blocker after having an ablation. No high blood pressure. I'm sorry, Tammy. That is a question that I am simply not knowledgeable enough to answer, so I won't. That really is the purview of a cardiologist to tell you that, because it's an experience that I personally haven't had, experimented on myself, and come to my opinion. So I can't tell you. I don't. There may be beta blockers slows your heartbeat down. There are a number of ways to lower blood pressure. A beta blocker slows your heartbeat slower. Your blood pressure supposedly goes down. Then there are vascular relaxers, which, when your blood vessels normally constrict when it wants your blood pressure to go up, well, these drugs just relax your muscles and your arteries open up. And when you increase the size of an artery, the pressure is going to go down. Sometimes when you're hypertensive enough, like I was, they give you one of each. They take it from two friends. So you end up with two different PP meds. But when you've had an ablation, which, in case people don't know, is when they go in with a catheter into a damaged area of heart muscle and cauterize it, burn it. Of course, they want your heart to slow down and not work as hard. So that's when the beta blockers are, I think, a good idea. How long you should continue to take them, I couldn't tell you, because I don't know how fast you're healing, how bad the damaged part that they cauterized was, how extensive, how many of them did they do. Your overall health. That's all something a doctor, and if he's a good doctor, has to consider in both the strength of the beta blocker they prescribe and the duration that you should have to take it. And in some cases, some of these things, you almost have to take a long time, because instead of just taking them to help with the previous episode, some of them may actually be preventative, which is, and the closest thing I can come to that theory is the fact that I'm taking baby aspirin every day now, because it will thin my blood out a little, and I'm committed to keep taking it because I had a stroke, and even though none of us know exactly what caused it, my blood had been a little thinner at the time. That clot might not have blocked. It might have been dissolved or gone through, and I might not have had the stroke. So I take the aspirin purely as a preventive measure, and at this point in time, I'm taking 2 of the baby aspirin, even though the doctors their opinions were all over the place in the hospital when I was in rehab. One doctor said, you need to take a full-size aspirin every day. One doctor said, nah, you just need 1 baby aspirin. Evidently, the full-size guy won. They erred on the side of caution when they wrote me the prescription when I left for a full-size. But there are side effects to taking that much aspirin every day. In fact, that you could develop stomach problems. So I split the difference with them. And since, if you look at the number of milligrams in an aspirin, a full-size aspirin is about 3 1/4. A baby aspirin is 80, 81. It's 4 baby aspirins to 1 full-size. I split the difference and said, I'll take 2. But that's not written in stone, and I'm going to keep that up forever. But I think as I get older, and considering I'm sure I got some blockages somewhere, especially where I had my surgery, I am going to probably take some form of aspirin for the rest of my life for preventative measures. That was a very lengthy non-answer to your question. I hope maybe something I said made something click, or at least you know what questions to ask your doctor about it now. Ask him why you're on the beta blocker. Is it preventative? for the future, or is it just until the procedure I had heals and then I can stop it? And let him explain this to you. He knows a lot more about it than I do, that's for sure. Lorraine McDermott says, happy birthday all around. Wow. Thomas, my sugars are higher this morning. They reached 190. I'm sure it's the goal. Yeah, I don't know why they would be 190. Are you eating any carbs at all, Thomas? You on insulin or? I don't know if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic or what. So I can't comment on that. But 190, you definitely want them lower than that. Oh, Peter's blaming his girlfriend for his problems, and Gary says, I think maybe Peter was sold captive too. That's funny. That's funny. Rando. I don't recognize that name. Hello, Rando. He says, I bet you can get a better sear with frozen as it takes longer to cook. Yeah, there's no doubt that you probably could cook the outsides. And then you could probably, I don't know if you could cook it in a frying pan without the timing of it being very touchy if you start with frozen, because you're more likely to get a raw center or a wildly overcooked outside layer. I don't like to cook. I cook steaks from frozen once in a blue moon in the air fryer, but that's about it. I'd rather start with defrosted. And fish is delicate. You can overcook fish or undercook fish very easily. You got to just keep track of it and use a thermometer, meat thermometer, while you're cooking in the pan and check to make sure that you're still not raw inside. Although with salmon, you know, like lightly seared tuna, a lot of people go for that almost raw in the center because it's got to be healthy if you're looking to get some omega-3s out of it. But that's a good point. I'm looking. Okay. So anyway, that salmon, I have to remember. Like, I think I'm going to put an order in this morning. Stock up on that salmon and see if they don't have some of the pasture-raised eggs. But I'll tell you, it's interesting. And I said that I think I talked about this last night in the private community. I've talked to many times about the conflict in the labeling on Sam's Club pasture-raised eggs when they state on the label that it's 100% vegetarian fed. I said, it's impossible. Those two things are mutually exclusive. You can't put a chicken out to pasture and claim he only eats the vegetables and meticulously avoids the worms and the grubs, which is what he's looking for in the first place. You can't do that. It doesn't make sense. Well, the last time I got these eggs from Sam's, that 100% vegetarian fat is gone. It's gone from the label. It doesn't say that anymore. And I got a chuckle about it. I said, I can't believe that I had anything to do with that, but I don't hear anybody else pointing that out either. So it may be that I started something and they, in their huge wisdom, evidently heard it, but I doubt it. DS111, how you doing? Mitch, how old are you? 47, 1947. Yes, 47. Well, I said I was 45 by accident when I created that video. It became a joke. No, I'm 78 now. You know that. 78. 78. It started in my 79th year. Talking about Peter's girlfriend trying to kill him. Yeah, Peter. That is one of the downfalls. If you have a girlfriend, a wife, a partner, children, anybody that you spend a lot of time with that doesn't eat like you eat, you're going to be tempted because you're an addict. There's no doubt about it. That's one of my main advantages. I don't have to be around that shit. Because when I am, I'm tempted because I'm an addict. Oh, yeah. Hey, Rick, I used a champ. Well, if anybody else, Rick, had a champion juicer, it would have to have been you. I used to. I gave mine away. I gave it away. The thing weighed about 10 pounds. It's this big ass industrial looking motor. My God, it's huge. And it worked. It definitely worked. It wasn't, you could juice a steel ball on that thing. It's so powerful. Rick says, I remember I made a horrific green sludge on the counter. Yeah, that was probably really good for you. And you guys are talking about the various merits of catfish. That's interesting. Interesting. Well, we're up to 10:09, about 15 minutes behind. I still got some coffee here, so excuse me. Still hot because of the coffee cup warmer, proudly provided by Francine Bourgeois, who I thank regularly for it, and in the cup from Mark Whistler. You guys take such good care of me, and this cup has got the old guy face on the back there, and Morning Coffee with Mitch on the front. I would be remiss if I didn't say that in the description and on my website are links to the company that makes my merchandise, and there is a Morning Coffee with Mitch coffee cup, and you can see it up there in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Many of you have bought them. Many of you maybe don't know that they're available, along with my T-shirts. And you have been very, very generous to me. But I know there are a few of you who just dying to give me a birthday present this year. And this is how you best way to do it, because I get all the money and Google doesn't take 30%. Buy me a coffee. Put that link in there too. Thank you very much. But I can thank you and say your generosity as a whole, as a group this year was tremendous. And thank you. Thank you so much. You're talking about cod. You know, I have mixed emotions about cod. If you want to make fish and chips, if you want a white fish that's mild, cod is great. But it doesn't have a lot of distinctive flavor to it. It's got a great texture. I don't think it's a fatty fish, a real fatty fish. So I don't think you're going to benefit from a high omega-3 hit like you do with salmon or the small fishies like anchovies, mackerel, things like that. But it's great to fry up because it comes out nice and light. And haddock and cod, any of the cold water fishes like that really are really good. But I think they lack a little in the nutrition compared to something like salmon. Problem is finding good salmon. Just about all of the salmon we get and shrimp that we get is not wild caught. It's farm raised. I don't believe they farm raise these cold water white fishes, but they sure farm raise most of the salmon that I see. And they feed that fish pretty much soybeans. And I don't want that. I want the fish that eat other fish. Knowing what the good food is one thing. Finding how to get it is another. And it doesn't do you much good to know what the good food is if you can't get it. Because then you have to approach it from the least bad angle. What is the least bad for you? And who wants to live like that? I'd rather focus on what's best for me. John Schieffer, the person that's older than me. Always love to see you here. Here's a question. Target of our Mib. Here's a question. Could a bad cold raise the blood sugar? Well, hard to say, Thomas. I imagine that when you get sick, all bets are off on a lot of things. Because your body has to react to it. And all the things that might be tightly regulated have to readapt to whatever it takes for you to fight off the cold. I wouldn't worry about it. There is a cause for it, and if you're convinced that it's not, you haven't eaten inadvertently enough sugar to raise it, it might be your body reacting to cold, but if it just happens, and it just happens on a rare occasion, you can't really take anything. Gotta let it play out, see what happens. My opinion, of course. Carnivore-friendly endocrinologists might have a better take on it. But certainly a vegan endocrinologist, you'd have no way of knowing that whether he was right or not. He could be right. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Mitch, what do you think a normal glucose level should be? Does it matter how long you were on the standard American diet, like at 50 years? No, if you get yourself metabolically healthy and down to the right BMI and get lean enough, I think your blood sugar is going to go to the normal level, and everybody's a little different, and it depends on the time of day you take it. I'm not the guy to set or have an opinion on what normal is. I think normal is a word that's used wildly out of context most of the time. What is normal? Is anybody really normal? Normal compared to what? You have to say to yourself. Where does abnormal start? Everything is a bell curve. You don't know what a bell curve is. And we all, no matter what you're measuring, it comes in on a bell curve. And usually they take a chunk out of the center and call that normal, and then you got the outliers on the end. Well, certainly I'm abnormal when it comes to my LDL level compared to the rest of the population, because 350 is a wild outlier. That doesn't really tell you anything. May very well be that because of our lifestyle, I'm healthier than all those normal people. So when you say normal blood sugars, especially in this sugar pool in which we all swim, it's very hard to say, because what is normal from the bell curve of the measurement of people's sugar is much higher than it really should be, and it's not optimal. And that's where Ken Berry comes in and other doctors and say, just because something says you're in a normal range doesn't mean your level is optimal. Because normal is an average of all the people, and most of the people are sick. My blood sugar on my last physical, fasted, taken early in the morning last year, right in the middle of what they call dawn effect, was about 90. I don't take my blood sugar. I don't look at it. I don't know what it is. I have no reason to follow it. Once a year, I get my blood sugar checked, and it's at a time when it's early in the morning and I'm fasted. It usually hovers around 90. I'm sure if I took my blood sugar at a time of day where dawn effect is not raising it 10, 15, 20 points, I'd be around 70 to 80. And in my opinion, I'd say 70 to 80 is the number that you can consider normal. But if you have been a diabetic, or you're pre-diabetic, or you have an A1C, over 5.6, normal doesn't apply. It's not optimal. So what I would do is I would Google optimal blood sugar level and then put down like Ken Berry, put down a few other, Anthony Chafee afterwards, and you might come up with some videos where they talk about it and then see what they have to say. See what they have to say. It's an opinion, if anything. It's not written anywhere what an optimal blood sugar level should be. But that's Brian, that's a good question. Good question. Let's see. That, not raw salmon, unless it's gravlax or smoked. How about hot salmon? Well, I don't know who you're talking to, who you're answering, who says something about raw salmon, but that's the essence of sushi. They call it sushi grade salmon. They eat it raw. Animals eat raw things all the time. And generally, like a bear, if he just grabs a salmon out of the stream, that salmon's not going to be rancid or spoiled or anything, and it's going to be perfectly, super healthy. So raw fish, yes, gravlax is raw or smoked salmon. I eat a lot of that. It's never been near a real fire. It's just smoked, and that stuff is great. And that smoker, yeah, you could hot smoke it, but you can cold smoke it too. Oh, that's going to be good, in my opinion. I think so. I love lox. Lox, they call it gravlax up in Scandinavia, where they eat a lot of that stuff. But they may think they invented it, but my ancestors have been eating lox on a bagel ever since time immemorial. And I grew up with that stuff. That was Sunday morning fare. Smoked fish and lox and bagels. I think the best two food groups there are lox and bagels. Other people think that beer and pizza are the best food groups. Again, we all have our opinion. Let's see. I'm still going. Am I catching up? 10:24. Yeah, not too far behind. Wow. DS111 has a question. Mitch, do you still have forearm vascularity like before? I have that too. I consider it a sign of vitality. I don't know if you can see it on here. Now, as soon as you hold your arm up, the vascularity goes away. When you put your arm back down, so in looking at this arm, my veins are popped. My veins in my hand just pop out. But as soon as I pick it up, see the veins in my hand, they just go away, because now that blood pressure in my hand went down because I raised it, and now it has to fight gravity on the way up. When it's sitting that normally below your heart or a level with your heart, then the blood pressure effectively in your hands or your arms or your forearms increases, and your veins pop out. And it's incredible how fast they react. And the fact that we have I have tremendous vascularity in my arms and hands, more than I ever had in my life, because I'm thin. Most of the time, there's a layer of subcutaneous fat that kind of softens that look. But as you get older, your skin gets thinner and you get less fat, you become more vascular. And it is a sign of health, and it's a sign that it's something that the best bodybuilders are striving for, because that makes them look better, and they really look vascular because they have so little body fat. Whether they're healthier than we are, I don't know. But yeah, the answer is it's yes, still very vascular. And the good news, and also my ankles, the things you see, the good news is that the amount of vascularity that I see in my right extremities is pretty much equal to my left. And I think that's a good sign. That means that the blood is flowing, which it wasn't when I first had the stroke. I had more edema in my right leg. I have no edema, no swelling in my left leg at all, and still a small amount of edema at the end of the day in my right ankle, which goes completely away overnight when I sleep. When I first had the stroke, from my knee down, my right leg was cold when I touched it, which indicates generally a lack of circulation. And it scared me. But it's improved little by little every day since. So I'm hopeful that there's nothing that's going to be permanent there. All right. DS111, thank you for that question. Five minutes behind, and we'll wrap it up here pretty soon. TGIF, everybody, have a nice day and have a nice weekend. And I have done it. Gotten to the bottom of the chat, the last. The last is a question without the QQQs, but I found that Alan Landis, are you eating the same foods now as you were before the stroke? Yes, sir. Exactly the same foods, with the addition of a conscientious effort to add more omega-3 fatty acids. And eat a little more fish. I don't know if that will have anything to do with what caused the stroke, but for an overall health perspective, I think none of us are really getting enough EPA and DHA, which are the omega-3 fatty acids, because we're eating mostly bacon, eggs, and beef. And those of us that conscientiously throw the fish in, and I tend to not eat a lot of the mackerel and anchovies and things that are very high in that. I love salmon, and I'm glad I found that frozen salmon. It's a good way. It's a good way to get that into your diet. Real Life Finance says, and don't forget to put questions in there. I see these because they're current, and I would have missed it. That was Papa Carnivore. Real Life Finance. Here it is. Are you having daily or weekly physical occupational therapy? I am now. I have 2 weeks of it left. 1 visit a week from a physical therapist and an occupational therapist that amounted to almost 2 months of visits. And it started out with 2 visits a week when I left the rehab about 7 weeks ago, 6 or 7 weeks ago. We're at the point right now where I think they told me everything that I need to know. I've got a bunch of exercises, most of which I find just duplicate what I'm already doing, living my life. And the agreement from both of those therapists is real life, as long as you keep moving. The things that you do are the best therapy for you. Walking, stretching the limits of how long I can balance or walk without. So as long as I'm conscientiously trying hard to use my right hand for everything that I used to, that's real effective therapy. And they both agree that I probably don't need, the way I'm going, I don't need to seek more therapy when they're done, because they're just about done with it. Now it's up to me, and I'm aware enough about what it takes to make sure I keep doing it. And I will. I have that burning desire to get back to what was my previous life before BS, before stroke. So, yes, I am. I'm once a week. And I do it now. They're both great people, and it's almost like a friend coming over. But do I need to try to get it extended? No. Now, I do have a fallback, and that is the VA has a terrific physical therapy department. Of course they would. They deal with so many injuries and things with the soldiers that I went to their physical therapy for months when I had this rheumatoid arthritis problem. And it was great. And I can always call my primary there and ask her, get me into physical therapy. I have some issues that I need to deal with in a professional manner, with a gym and the right equipment. And she'll do it for me in a second. So we'll see. Right now, I'm hoping that I don't need to go to the VA twice a week and sit down in the waiting room, wait for the thing, and go through all that. Well, we finished with the chat. My friends, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm going to play a little happy music. There it is. Play a little happy music for you. And take a minute or two to say goodbye to everybody in the chat. I'll be back on Sunday morning, 9:30, and we'll have some more coffee. I still got coffee left from this one. To be honest, and I hope I don't upset anyone, the question was meant for Mitch. To give him a QQQ, I already know the answers. I've been a diabetic. Okay. Thomas, I figured that. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the help. Give me something to talk about. And B says, see you next time, B. Well, Melissa, have a great Friday, everyone. Flat says, bye, Mitch Fitz. And have a food weekend eating meat and fish. Mike Shelley Sr. says, have a good day, all. Chemet 48, bye, Mitch and Mitch Fitz. Snoopy 420, have a great day, everybody. See you Sunday. Certainly will. You should come to Rick's channels tomorrow morning, Mitch. It's fun. I might do that. We'll see what I got going on tomorrow morning. Probably I could do it. So I'll at least come in and say hello. How's that? Thanks for the invite. Terry Sue says, fun and funny and weird and makes one shake their head. And that's the end of the happy music. And on that note, I'll tell you all, see you Sunday. Take the rest of the day off. Thanks for coming. And by God, eat meat.